versus the remitting relapsing type and the primary progressive type. So you have to identify these, and only then you can make a proper treatment schedule. Then now we have long-term therapeutic agents are there, so and they are very costly, and they also a lot of drugs side effects are there. So you have to be very careful in making a diagnosis. That's why today's talk is going to concentrate on diagnosing multiple sclerosis. This the diagnostic criteria has evolved for a long time, and the latest one is the 2017 one, which helps us to make a diagnosis possible. It's a chronic progressive demyelinating disease. All of us know about it. And it's an immune mediated disorder, and several factors can trigger it, but the exact cause is not known, and it affects 2.5 million worldwide, with the disease of the young adults, predominantly women more than men, 20 to 40 age group predominantly affected. Three main components are there in the pathology: inflammation, demyelination and axonal loss. So what is this disease? It's a progressive disease that is associated with significant disability as time goes on. You can have the different forms of it. One is comes, first episode is there, goes away, improves, and then comes back again. This is a remitting and relapsing multiple sclerosis. It is like this: comes, improves, and then may not go into a baseline again. With every episode, there is an increase in disability. This is remitting, relapsing multiple sclerosis. And the second one is secondary progressive. Comes, improves, and then second time it comes, and then it keeps progressing. There is no remitting, relapsing, though you may have some small remissions and relapses. Third time is the primary progressive, because you see from the start it keeps worsening and disability is there. And in this primary progressive, sometimes you have progressive relapsing multiple sclerosis, which progresses from the beginning but have some relapses and remissions in between. This type of MS has a very, large disability quotient, and so you have to be very careful in identifying the types of MS. The common symptoms will be, these are the common symptoms and these are the common signs. The common symptoms will be, patients usually present with visual blurring, or they say that they are looking at the color and it looks like as if it's faded. It can be numbness affecting one part of the body, difficulty in walking, there can be stiffness of the limbs, bladder bowel dysfunction, and sometimes cognitive dysfunction, especially as the disease progresses. Can present with the dizziness, vertigo, depression, fatigue, sexual dysfunction as well as pain. All these are the symptoms. When it comes to the signs, you find the sensory deficit can be present in different parts of the body. I am taking this as the first one. And then reflex asymmetry can be present, especially with this pyramidal involvement. And cerebellar signs can be present, finger-nose incoordination, tremors can be present, and optic neuritis, ataxia, nystagmus. Very simple, this is known as a SIN. SIN is a slurred speech, intention, tremor and nystagmus. That is very common mnemonic used for the diagnosis of multiple sclerosis. And what are the methods and the techniques used to diagnose multiple sclerosis? This is mainly a diagnosis of exclusion of other disorders. So apart from the combination of signs and symptoms, you can have help of the magnetic resonance imaging, evoked potential, cerebrospinal fluid analysis and magnetic resonance spectrography if needed to come to a diagnosis. So it's a clinical diagnosis, mainly depends on a detailed history, careful neurological examination and supportive paraclinical investigations. So the three important points for the diagnosis is there should be dissemination, you should be able to demonstrate dissemination in time. That is, one episode occurred once and another episode later. Dissemination in space, that is, one part of the CNS got affected once, a different part at the different time. And exclusion of other conditions which can be very similar to that of multiple sclerosis. So the simplest one and the easiest to remember is two clinical attacks involving two different areas of the central nervous system, lasting more than 24 hours, occurring at least 1 month apart. So first, suppose I have only one numbness of the face, okay, and then that is there, and afterwards it goes away. Then next month I have what is known as, what I feel is numbness in one half of the body. So you know that these are two different regions, can be on the opposite side, there are two different regions affected. So you find there is a dissemination in time And dissemination space, two different regions are I think affected. One attack, but if the patient has only one attack clinically, but if you are able to demonstrate dissemination in space in MRI shows different structures involved and dissemination in time by different types of lesions, some enhancing, some not enhancing, that can also be taken as multiple sclerosis.